Okay, I am here. I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm looking to see if anyone else is here. I'm so sorry about that. I have no idea why that happened. Um, let's see. Sherry, can you hear me? If you can, let me know. Is there sound? Because I am not muted and I was not muted before, and yet no one can hear me. So let me know. People, if you can hear me, let me know. Okay, you can hear me. Man, that's annoying. What the heck? That was like 7 minutes of my best analysis. Oh, God, that's so frustrating. I'm so add one more. So sorry about that. I have no idea why that happened. I was not muted. I checked multiple times. It was connected to my microphone. Everything seemed to be working fine. Oh gosh. Okay, so Tammy Cochran says, can you please repeat all of that word for word with the same great gesturing? Oh gosh, this is so frustrating. I usually just answer the first few questions that come in and then I sort of scroll down eventually and go through them. All right, so I'll wait as people come in. Okay, so a couple things. One, thank you for your patience. Two, I did a whole riff on. I used to work at CNN. I used to work at the Washington Post. Now I'm an individual content creator, and now I really need your help and support. Any little bit helps. Please go subscribe to my politics Substack newsletter, which is called So What. Please go subscribe to my sports newsletter, which is called The Replay. Watch this. Watch this, subscribe, spread the word, etc., etc. So I'm so sorry. And thank you for the donations, of money so that you could hear me. Okay, so can I ask you if you can send questions in, please do it. I'll answer a few from the other stream. Let me see if I can pull up the other stream while we're here, and I can probably just put it up here, and I'll have the stream. Let's see. Let's go to live. There's the wrong one that went wrong. Okay. Let's see. Well, where the hell are the questions? They're not in there yet. Okay. Well, here's what I know. Yes, H asked, did you pick a winner between Biden and Trump? I did. You missed that? What happened? The first question that I answered, and I'll re-answer now, is on the Trump Supreme Court case. So two things. One, I am not a lawyer. So take that for what it will. My mom wanted me to be one. I never was one. And never have been one. So two observations. One, it seems likely that the court is not going to accept the total and complete immunity thing that Donald Trump wants, right? Like, I don't think that's going to happen. It would be insane for it to. Like, if you listen to any of the Trump argument yesterday, the one of the justices said, would it be okay under your logic for Donald Trump to order the assassination of a political rival who he believes is corrupt? And Trump's lawyer was like, under some circumstances, yes. Like, obviously we can't have that, right? That's not a thing. That said, my other takeaway was the court seems likely to remand, so push back down to a lower court, some guidelines on creation of some guidelines on how a president can be immune and a president can't be immune. So what does that mean? Well, it just means delay, right? So the timeline right now is this. There will be we'll probably get a ruling on this in late June, early July. That's when the court rules for this term. So we'll probably get a ruling on that at that time. If the ruling is we want the lower court to provide some clarity, then we're going to get months of that, right? And there's no way that special counsel Jack Smith's classified documents case or the 2020 election case are going to happen before the election. And if that's the case and Donald Trump wins, he's going to get rid of the special counsel's office, and that'll be that. Okay, that'll be that. So this is a win for Donald Trump, even if he's not going to win on the complete and total immunity. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. All right, again, if you can cut and paste your question into this chat, I will love you forever. I'm sorry. I'm not super technologically sound. There was nothing obvious wrong with the last chat. So thank you. Thank you for your donations. Let's see. Oh, I like this. Windward to Eden said, well, it was entertaining, was it, to watch me gesture wildly? Glad you're back and can't hear what you have to say. Remember, on July 2nd, 1776, John Adams had to repeat the speech he had just given to Congress for declaration of war twice outside. Yes. Okay. So this is not that bad. Okay. So sorry. So sorry. I don't know what happened. All right. We're moving on. Let's see. Hopefully, we got 87 people. So thank you. Thank you. Chris Murphy 15. Who is the next Obama candidate? So I assume you mean by that, who's the next, like, what we take to be like a really talented young candidate? I like Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. I think he is really naturally gifted. He's smart. He spent time in Congress as a staffer. I know him a little bit. I think he's really talented and has done an amazing job of winning election in a big swing state. So I keep an eye on him. Obviously, Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, I think, is someone to keep an eye on. Obviously, Gavin Newsom. Look, I still think Cory Booker, he's not that. He's like 55 or 56. I don't know how young you have to be a young star. I mean, we got an 81-year-old guy and a 77-year-old guy right now. So, I think Cory Booker could be in there. Who else do I think is really naturally talented who's young? Like, I know you're going to disagree. Most of you will disagree with this, but I think Tom Cotton is talented as a politician. You may not agree with what he says, but he's a young and talented guy with an impressive resume. It's hard because so many of those people have been run out of the party. Like Paul Ryan, I thought was pretty talented and young, but he has no chance now. Glenn Youngkin is relatively young and pretty talented, but I don't see where he fits in. So yeah, I hope that's sort of an answer. Okay. What Peter McGlory, this is a good question. What's my view on Biden's polling? So for people who didn't watch it, please, if you can, it's a little longer than the usual video I make, but yesterday I made like a 9-minute video trying to kind of defend polling in a as objective a way as I could, where I tried to say I tried to make the point that I think the real problem is us, not polling. That we are so obsessed with let's take this poll that shows what I want and that one's right and all the other ones are wrong, or this poll doesn't show what I want, therefore polling is broken. So what I make of the Biden polling is this. He clearly has, since around the State of the Union, though I don't want to date it exactly the State of the Union, but since around the State of the Union, he has moved up. At the same time, Trump has moved down a little bit. So, excuse me, I don't have any water today. What that means basically is that the race is functionally tied. I think it's 44.6 Trump, 44.4 Biden in the latest Real Clear Politics polling average I saw, but that just means it's tied, right? So I do think Biden has moved up a little bit, largely due to consolidating Democrats behind him, which we always knew was going to happen. The question is when. So I think that's happening. That said, I still think that if the election were today, Donald Trump would win. I think Nevada is a problem for Democrats. I think Michigan is problematic for Democrats. I think Wisconsin's a little bit better, but still not easy. I think Arizona, let's wait and see because of the abortion stuff going on out there. That could change the dynamic. I think Georgia is, I keep running into the microphone. I think Georgia is harder for Democrats than it was in 2020. I think North Carolina is harder for Democrats than it was in 2020. So, I just think in those swing states, it's still slightly Trumpy. If we had the New York Times arrow, I think if this side is Trump, I think it would be like this, just barely Trump. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's see. I like this. Sam, here was my question from the cursed chat. I just don't know what happened. I did everything exactly the same. I wanted to get your thoughts on the Political article about the feud between Biden and the New York Times. Yeah. So if you've not, Sam, can you do me a favor? If you have a sec, can you publish it in this chat? Just publish the link. I do it, but I don't want people like me over here. Read this piece if you haven't. It was really, I thought, quite well done. Basically what it amounts to is Biden has not done a sit down with the New York Times since he became president of the United States. The New York Times, as you might expect, takes umbrage at that, excuse me, because the New York Times is New York Times, right? It's the single most powerful media organization in the country, I would argue. I know you could say CNN or NBC or, I just think when the Times says something, it matters, right? In like a very meaningful way. And no, I've never worked there. And no, I don't think I'm going to work there. So I'm not like, I'm not fishing for a job. I'm just saying, I think that's the facts. So I have two thoughts. One, is Joe Biden purposely end running the mainstream media to find more favorable interviewers like Howard Stern that he did today on SiriusXM? Is he doing that? 100% yes. Is he the first president to do that? Absolutely not. Since there has been a rise of partisan media, so, around 2000-ish, let's call it, presidents have sought out places where they're going to get less hard questions and have a better chance to do well. Do I think that's especially true with Biden? Sure, because he's 81 years old. And I think they're very concerned with him looking, the Biden folks are concerned with him looking old and sounding old and getting caught with not being able to answer a hard question or, et cetera, et cetera. So I get why he's doing it from a campaign perspective. From like a democracy and reporting perspective and free and independent media, I think it's terrible. This guy, whoever it is, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, is the single most powerful person in the world. Okay. Given that, I think it is super, super important for that person to face difficult and, yes, at times awkward questioning from people who are not naturally inclined to help him. I think that makes a huge difference. You need to hold power to account. If we have learned one lesson over all of our years, it's that if you do not hold power to account, whether it's the Catholic Church, the business community, the media, politics, power runs wild. So we need to hold power to account. So no, I do not like that they are doing it. I understand that they are doing it, but I do not like it. I hope that makes sense. Ade Odeyemi, my question is, what if Trump wins? What will happen to the world? All right, so I don't think democracy will end in America if Trump wins. I know that some of my friends like Jonathan Last, who I love at the Bulwark, and some of his colleagues believe that we will be in an authoritarian state if Donald Trump wins. I don't think that. I just don't think in a 4-year span he is going to dismantle Congress, the Supreme Court, the media. Well, I just don't see it, right? I'm not saying he wouldn't have that bent. I think he does have a little bit of a dictatorial bent to him. Like, I think he likes people like the president of China or Erdogan in Turkey who just kind of get to do whatever they want. I think he likes that. I'm just saying I don't think the system will allow that. But the world will look different, right? We'll be more isolationist. There will be a sort of politicization, am I saying that word, and weaponization of the various government agencies in ways we haven't seen before. NATO, the United Nations, World Trade Organization. I think all those big multicultural organizations will be changed. Trump tried to change them and did change some of them during his time in office. Maybe you like that. Maybe that's a good thing, but it will be a change. I just don't think, on November 6th, if Donald Trump wins on November 5th, then on November 6th, we're going to unravel democracy. I think that's unlikely. I hope that makes sense. By the way, ask your questions in the chat. For the people who are donating to me, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Like, even if it's a small amount, it's appreciated because it's an investment in what I'm trying to do. So like, I appreciate that. So anyway, thank you. Let's see. Sam says $10 so I can buy a better microphone. This microphone is nice. Hold on. I'm turning it up. Maybe it was too low. All right, I'm turning it up. All kinds of audio problems. Oh my God. Let's see. Sorry. I'm going through the questions here. Okay. Evil Genius 007. Do you think the economy will drive the 2024 election, or has the echo chamber effect of social media finally killed that trend? I don't think social media has killed that trend. I always remind people, like, even at the heights of Twitter, so like 3 or 4 years ago, like 18% of people were users 20%. And like of that, 1-2% provided almost all the content. It's such a niche product. I mean, I use it all the time. I have it pulled up right now, but it's just not something. It's just not something that lots and lots and lots and lots of people use. So I think we overblow social media a little bit. I know Facebook has a lot of influence. I know Twitter has some influence. Excuse me. I think less since Elon Musk bought it. And made his changes to it. But no, I still think, yes, the economy period will be an issue. If people feel like the economy is getting better, that's good for Joe Biden. If people feel like the economy is stagnant or getting worse, that's bad for Joe Biden. People, it's cliche, but it is true. The whole "it's the economy, stupid" James Carville 1992 campaign, still true. The first issue that matters to people is, do you feel like you have enough money? Do you feel like you can buy things you want? Do you feel like you can meet necessary needs? I know I'm necessary needs. That's a little bit repetitive. Like, that's the first thing, because it hits you every day, right? You go to the gas pump. I don't, because I own a Tesla. I bought it pre Elon Musk being Elon Musk. You go to the gas pump, you go to the grocery store, you go wherever, and it's in your face, right? It's like, well, bread used to cost this, and now it costs this, twice as much, or 1.5 times as much. So yes, the economy will always be an issue. Biden has to hope that people's perception of it gets better. That's it. If it doesn't, he'll struggle to win. Windward to Eden. No, I asked that question. That's right. Jordan Oben. How do you think the hush money trial is going? If Trump is found guilty, what do you think his punishment looks like? Fines, community service, house arrest, jail time. So I actually have been a little bit surprised at how newsy the hush money trial has been. Like David Pecker, amazing name for a guy who ran the National Enquirer. David Pecker's testimony, which has basically taken up this whole week, has been, I think, pretty newsy. I mean, he said that he coordinated with Trump and Michael Cohen to pay these women off. He said that his understanding was that Trump was doing this to benefit the campaign. He didn't care about it, how it impacted like Ivanka Trump or Melania Trump, his family. Like, he wasn't worried about that. He was worried about the campaign. Like, I'm not surprised by that, but we didn't know that before. So I think it's been pretty newsy. As to the outcome, so remember, they're not trying to prove that he paid hush money to these women. They're trying to prove that he falsified business records to cover up the hush money payments because he thought they would hurt him in the election. So it's more of a bank shot than you might think. I think probably fines is the way to go. He's not going to jail on this. If he does, I'd be stunned. So I think fines is my guess. And I think that's what's probably going to happen. He'll declare victory no matter what happens, but I think he'll probably get fined. Scott Mowry says, my lip reading lessons finally paying off. Yes. Okay. Finally, the good thing is we got 150 people in this chat. So that's wonderful. So, even though you had to port over from the last one, ask your questions again, you have persevered. Okay. Let's see. When do I think Trump would pick a VP? Okay. So he said so many things about the VP race and who he might pick over the last couple months. He said he made his mind up already. He said that like 2 months ago. He said he hasn't made his mind up yet. He said it could be anyone. It could be one of 25 people. He's got it narrowed down. Like, he just says anything. My guess is he announces it somewhere right before the Republican convention, which I think is July 15th, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, my allergies are just still brutal. July 15th, I think, in Milwaukee. Is that right? It's in the middle of the summer. Regardless of when it is, he'll probably announce it 1 or 2 days before the convention, would be my guess. That's what they traditionally do, and I would bet he would do that because I think he wants to let the drama play out for as long as he possibly can. He wants coverage of it. He wants to dominate the spotlight. He wants to float some trial balloon candidates and sort of see how people respond to them. So that would be my guess. Let's see. Austin Kruger, thoughts on college campus protests and how they could affect the election. So I did a talk last night for a friend. I talked to dads who have kids at Gonzaga High School, which is an all-boys school in D.C., and Georgetown Visitation, which is an all-girls school in D.C. So they have like a father's association. I talked to them last night, and somebody asked this question. My answer was, and I fear that this is going to be this is going to sound flippant, and I don't mean it to be. I mean, I think this is a real issue on college campuses all over the country. Um, I just don't think there are that many undecided voters. So I always am skeptical when people say, like, well, what do you think about this issue? What do you think about that issue? Because I just don't know that many people haven't made their minds up. Yes, there are undoubtedly some of them, no question. But those people tend to be low information voters. They tend to be people who are not on the Chris Cillizza live stream on Friday, April 26th, talking about the election. They are people who in October are like, oh, yeah, Biden and Trump. I better figure that out. Yeah, or later than October, November 4th, maybe even November 5th on the way to the ballot box. So I wonder if what seems like a really, really big deal in April will be a big deal in July or will be a big deal in October. That's what I wonder about. If we're still talking about campus protests in October, maybe. Um, but right now, for now, it seems to me like it's probably not. And again, I do not mean to be flippant. I do not mean to dismiss this stuff. It's a very real issue. But to your question about what particular impact it will have on the election, I'm a little bit skeptical. Let's see. Tara Reid, wait a minute. Have you considered doing an on this day video, i.e. today and Bernie and debated hindsight is 2020? Okay, this was part of I answered this question. This was part of the 7 lost minutes, the 7 minutes of silent tape. Yes, that is a great idea. I was saying, just to myself, because no one else could hear me, I was saying on the last live feed that we will never speak of again, that one of the things I do on my sports newsletter, it's called The Replay, and I hope you subscribe to it, is I look at like this day in sports history. So like the last week, Hank Aaron hit his first of 755 home runs. Fenway Park opened. So I do that because the whole point of the replay, the sports Substack, is to look back into sports history to see what informs us today. So I think doing the same thing in politics makes a ton of sense. I did one video this week with that in mind. 4 years ago, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday, Donald Trump had the press conference where he said, like, you should try injecting disinfectant or shining a bright light to deal with COVID-19. So I did one of those, but I'm going to do more of them. It's a great idea. Thank you. And that was part of the lost commentary. Green Mountain Academy. Biden says he plans to debate Trump. Who has more to gain or lose in a debate? So I'm going to write about this more. I hope you subscribe to this. I don't want to just make this a sales pitch, but I write a nightly newsletter that if you read nothing else or listen to nothing else that I do, I really think it's worth your time. It's called Chris Crucial because I like the sound of that. Chris Crucial. And it summarizes sort of the news of the day and puts my analysis and spin on it. So that's going to be the top of Chris Crucial tonight, which is the debate thing. So in his interview with Howard Stern today, I think he talked to him for an hour, which is amazing. Amazing because he would never talk to the New York Times for an hour or Chris Cillizza or the Washington Post or CNN for an hour. Biden said he was going to debate, and the issue is figuring out when, which is a change from what he said before, which is basically like, I bet Donald Trump would like to debate me. So do I take this to be the gospel truth that we are definitely getting general election debates? I do not, right? Just because Biden told Howard Stern that, and just because Donald Trump says he wants to debate is no guarantee that we're going to get debates, because actually having debates means the two sides agree on a moderator. They agree on a format. They agree on a time. They, like all that stuff. The devil is in the details big time when it comes to debates. But it certainly makes it more likely we're going to get a debate. And as to who has more to gain or lose, Biden has more to lose for sure. Trump has one speed. You know what you're going to get. He's going to lie about stuff. He's going to interrupt. He's going to bully. He's going to attack the moderator. He's going to attack Joe Biden, right? Like, you kind of know what you're getting. With Biden, sometimes he's fiery and good, like the State of the Union. Sometimes he's not. So if he's not, that's a problem. If he looks lost on stage, I don't mean like he can't find his way on stage. I just mean if he looks lost, like he doesn't look like he belongs, or Trump is kind of dominating him and that sort of thing, I think that's a problem. I think that's why I've been skeptical we're going to have any debates, just because I never thought it was really in Joe Biden's interest to debate. So I would say put a pin in it. Yes, this is absolutely newsworthy that he said he wants to debate now. Put a pin in it. That does matter. Do not do not think that it ensures he is going to debate, though. I think that is still a little up in the air because I do think he has more to lose, and I'm not sure how much he has to gain. To your question, Ty Jordan, these need to be longer. Love them? Question mark. Love them. Have I checked out the pod 83 weeks with Eric Bischoff yet? I have not. I have it down to check out. I drive my son 45 minutes each direction to soccer 4 times a week. So I've got plenty of time to listen to podcasts. So I'm going to put that on there. I always like Bischoff. How long should this be generally? Like, I don't know if audience builds as we go or audience fades. I mean, we tend to usually get around 175, between 175 and 200 people on it at any one time. We're at 157 right now. I don't mind doing it. My issue is I try to do it at a regular time. So 1:00 on Fridays usually is worked. That's when I think you guys are used to it happening. So I've been trying to make it schedule that. Now, when we have a disaster like we just had for those 7 minutes, it pushes it back a little bit. I guess I could go longer. My wife schedules our workout at 2:00 on Fridays. So I guess I could just like not do the workout. But I don't know how long it should go. So if you have questions, let me know. Sherry Zimmerman, sports question. Chances for the Seattle Mariners going all the way in 2024. I like the Mariners. I think they have a really good team. I don't think they're going all the way because I think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. Could they be the American League representative? Maybe, though. The Yankees look pretty good. But I just think the Dodgers are head and shoulders going to be better than everyone once everybody gets healthy and they get going. Everyone, please like this video to encourage Chris and bring people back to the live stream. Yes. Thank you, Alicia Glauser. Yes. Like this. Yes. Let's see. Phil Reinhart, you alerted us to ex-NPR employee Yuri Berliner's piece asserting recent bias at his former network. There's been pushback from NPR journalist Steve Inskeep and others. Any thoughts on this issue at NPR? Yeah, Steve Inskeep is great and has a good Substack. So if you have not checked out his Substack, you should. Were you under the impression that NPR was a conservative publication before you read Yuri Berliner's thing? Did you think it was even necessarily like right down the middle? I mean, most people I know think NPR is like a little left, if not a lot left. So in some ways, I wasn't like super surprised that Yuri Berliner wrote something that said like it's not right down the middle. I don't know. Like, I guess I wasn't stunned. I don't think of NPR like I think of the BBC, which is like right down the middle. I tend to think of it as a little bit center left, which is fine. I mean, my view always is be transparent about who you are, right? Tell people why you think the things that you do. Explain yourself. Explain why you reach certain conclusions. If those conclusions wind up being wrong, explain what you got wrong and why you're going to try not to do it again. I mean, my view is just to be yourself. Now, it's harder when it's a big organization, right? Because there's lots of people who work for NPR, just like there are lots of people who work for CNN. When I say something about me, it's just me, right? It's what I write and what I talk about. I don't have to be responsible for anybody else other than me, which makes it easier, right? I mean, you can steer a smaller boat and change direction a lot easier than you can steer a big boat. So I get that. But generally speaking, I think we'd be better off being more transparent, more open about our biases, whether it's about politics or anything else, because I just think that that's human nature. That's life. Let's see. Sam asks, is my audience mostly older folks? I don't know. I don't know that there's that many older folks who are like tuning regularly. I mean, how do we define older folks? Like we get an 81-year-old and a 77-year-old running for president. Is that older folks? Thank you for that thumbs up, Chris. Like, I don't know who my audience is, to be totally honest. I'm not, maybe YouTube lets you dig into the demographics. I have not done that. I assume it's just people who like politics and have a little bit of free time on a Friday or over the weekend, check it out. And if you don't check it out live, I hope you're watching the stream of this later because this content is still relevant. Eternal Dirtle says, whoa, I made one. Welcome. Thank you for making one. Sean D said, this made my afternoon so stressful. I know, trust me, it made my afternoon stressful. I don't know why, why the sound didn't work. Let's see. Glynis Fitzpatrick, what the hell is going on in America that they are electing a criminal over a decent man that has worked his whole life serving the people? Mind-boggling. We're just super, 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 super divided. It is remarkable to me the number of people who genuinely believe that Joe Biden is mentally incompetent. That not just like old and sometimes doddering, like legitimately out of it mentally. Like lots of people believe that. In the same way that, like, I said something about this on Twitter and gotten some pushback on it, but like the whole Donald Trump farting in the courtroom, like, it's just so stupid. Like, really? Like, Donald Trump has done enough real legitimate stuff that we should point to that, like, whether he farts in the courtroom or not, or yes, he wears makeup. I just, like, to me, it feels small, feels stupid. Am I amazed that people like Bill Barr, the former attorney general, said that it's the liberals who are really destroying the country and are a threat to democracy? Yeah, a little bit, because only one of the two candidates tried to overturn a free and fair presidential election and then incited a riot when that didn't happen. And it wasn't Joe Biden. So yeah, it's a little bit surprising, but we're just so polarized. It's just the path to success in this country is to say the worst possible thing about the other guy. That's how you make money. Particularly if you're a content creator. I just, like, the whole Donald Trump farting in the courtroom thing, I thought was one of the dumbest storylines, and liberals ate it up. I'm sure it drove subscriptions. I'm sure it drove page views. I just thought it was so stupid. Okay. Oh, okay. People are telling me how old they are. 66, 66, 52, 63, 53, 60, 54, 45. So I'm 48, just FYI while we're sharing. 48 to 15. 6'3". 6'3", 215. Carl Henning, enjoy your show, Mr. C. Thank you. That's so nice of you. Yeah, everyone do a like. Do a like. Thoughts on the TikTok ban from Ghost Hack? I'm a little surprised that it happened, to be totally honest with you. And the reason for that is I'm a little surprised when Congress does anything. I did not think that they would pass this. I thought it would kind of linger and they move on to something else and they just forget about it and, whatever. So now there are 270 days for TikTok to sell, for the Chinese owners of TikTok to sell it. I think Biden can add 90 days to that 270 days to get to a year-ish. But I expect it to be sold. Look, I think TikTok's going to fight this legally. I think they're probably going to lose. And then I think it's going to be sold. Do I think it matters politically? Not really. Not really. I don't know. Let's see. Hardy Rabbit. Polling for the presidential races. Why aren't they listed as percentages of the Electoral College? Taking into account this, things like 1 vote in Wyoming is worth 4 votes in California. So the results read percentage of Electoral College instead, just because we've been doing it this way for a really long time and everybody knows how to do it this way and everybody knows how to read the polls that look this way. So familiarity is a big thing. Habit is a big thing. That's why I'm trying to do these live streams every Friday at 1:00 to build the habit, right? To build the habit of people coming in. I think that's why. Let's see. Whoa, sorry. Thoughts on TikTok ban? I did that. Notorious CRG said I had to leave to pick up my daughter. Glad to see and hear me back. Yes, I am glad to be seen and heard. Christy Noem shot her dog and goat, so she's out. Yes. I don't know if you followed this story, but Christy Noem is coming out. The governor of South Dakota is coming out with a memoir. The Guardian got its hands on the memoir. And in it, I read just the Guardian piece this morning. In it, she says that she had this dog that like tried to bite her and was really unruly. And she took it to a gravel pit and shot it in the head and killed it. And then after she had done that, she realized she had a goat that hadn't been castrated and was like chasing her children around. So she went to the gravel pit, dragged the goat there and shot the goat, but didn't kill the goat on the first shot and had to go back and get another shell and then came back and killed the goat. Why you would share that is totally beyond me. Do I think it disqualifies her as a VP? No, but man, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't think you want someone who just shot a dog in the head because it didn't behave. Like, just give it to a shelter. Golly. Yeah. Let's see. Josh B says, I would still say I'm undecided. I dislike both candidates. I barely dislike one more than the other. Look, I think that's pretty common. There was a Pew poll earlier this week. So they asked two questions. One was, do you think Trump and Biden, do you think each are physically able to do the duties of president? 67% of people said Biden was not physically able to do the duties of president. 67%. They then asked, do you think Trump and Biden will run ethical administrations? Stupid thumb. Ethical administrations. And 57% of people said Trump would not, right? So we know that this is an election where lots of people don't want either of these two candidates, and yet these are the two candidates they're getting. What I always say is, like, elections are not about a great choice and a terrible choice. They're usually about like an okay choice and a slightly less okay choice. So I think what you have to do is dig in and say, okay, why don't I like either of these candidates, and what matters more to me? You know, what of my dislike is more important? For me, I would say, generally speaking, a candidate trying to overturn an election is really, really, really bad for capital D democracy. And Biden being old is bad, but not that bad. That's my view. But you know, you gotta sort of figure out where you land on it. Bryant Vale, what do you know about where Biden folks are engaging in traditional politics, waiting to spend more money, go on the stack until now, ground game? Where is that good? Where might you suggest change? So they have a big financial lead over Trump, and I think they're using it. They are running a bunch of ads in swing states right now. It doesn't cover all that much, but they are running it. I can only presume they are investing heavily in ground game turnout in those 7 states that I named. Probably I'd put North Carolina in there. I know Biden has said Florida is going to be competitive. I don't buy that. In the same way I don't buy Trump saying New York's going to be competitive. I don't see it. So, you know, I think what they should do is push their advantage now to try to define the race around the issues they want. The way that you usually do that is through lots and lots of TV ads in swing states. And I think that's what they're doing right now. Again, that traditional campaign strategy is complicated a little bit by the fact that you have a president going against a former president, both of whom are very, very well known and neither of whom are at all well liked. So the dynamic is a little bit different. I think it's hard to move people off of sort of where they are, harder than ever before. So, you know, I'm not sure how predictive the past is of what we're going to see in November, but I think that's what they're trying to do. Let's see. Marilyn says, if Kristi Noem really did shoot those animals, then no, she should not be VP. Why can't we admit some people are just fundamentally awful and therefore should not govern us? Yeah. I don't get it. It's a little weird. Again, I don't think you should confess to shooting a dog who is not behaving well in the head and then shooting a goat randomly. I don't get why you would do that. But yeah, it's a whole thing. Morgan McDonald says, I am 78. Do I get a prize for being the oldest old fart listening? So far, yes. My mom is 76, but she's in Italy right now, and I'm not sure she watches these YouTubes. Let's see. So Notorious CRG. NPR is considered left because they are truth tellers. When I listen, I hear competent reporting. I'm a 54-year-old liberal independent in Utah. Yeah, look, I think NPR does excellent work. I think they adhere to the right capital J journalism standards. I just think I was not under the illusion that it was a conservative outlet before this Yuri Berliner piece. Like that was not surprising me. Let's see. Ideal Idol says, I thought Ronald Reagan was too far right, but everyone since has been further. Yeah, I still remember this was 2099 when actually 99 through about 2006, 2007 were Democrats. Remember how much Democrats hated George W. Bush? He was the worst, most conservative, taking the country in all these wrong directions. And I'm not suggesting they love him now, but Donald Trump has made George W. Bush, in the eyes of liberals, look 1,000 times better. Harvey Rabbit says, go into your stats. You can see ages and locations of all viewers. Okay, I'll do that. I have not done that. Let's see. MN, will there ever be a third-party candidate who will beat Ross Perot's performance in 92? So Perot in 92 got like 15%. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up real quick. 1992. Let's see. Percentage of vote. I'm the worst typer ever. Okay, in 1992, Ross Perot, here's the American Presidency Project, great site. Ross Perot got 18.9. I underestimated 18.9% of the vote. Clinton got 43. George H.W. Bush got 37.4, and then 18.9 for Perot. Man, I don't see it anytime soon. I don't think RFK Jr. is going to get 19% of the vote nationally. I think he might get 8, maybe 9% of the vote nationally, but I don't think he's going to get 19%. I just think the two-party system is very entrenched. I know people say they like the idea of a third-party candidate, but when they actually get a third-party candidate, they don't vote for a third-party candidate. Not in big numbers. Some do, 2, 3, 4%. Kennedy is running the most serious third-party candidacy in terms of what percentage of the vote he's getting, both nationally and in swing states, that we've seen since Perot, for sure. But man, I don't think he's going to get to 19%. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. By the way, we just went over 200 live streams. A lot of people on this live stream. Okay, let me do 5 more minutes. Let me see if I can do that. Just Diney says, Donald Trump farting is where America's level is. Yes, it's just... Phil Sternastek says, farts are funny, though. You're right. My kids and I still find farting funny. The idea that like he wears a diaper or it just seems so stupid to me. D Braze D. Does an acquittal in the Trump hush money case guarantee him a win because independents and wavering Republicans cover to vote for Trump? Gives them cover to vote for Trump. I don't think so. I am of a mind that these trials aren't going to change this trial, I should say, because I think there's only going to be one, aren't going to change a whole heck of a lot. I think people, again, they have baked in ideas about these two candidates. I just, remember when Donald Trump said I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and wouldn't lose any voters? He was 100% right. Yeah, and I think that's super telling. And I think that's largely true of Biden, too, just because he's facing Trump. I think people are just for Biden because they don't want to be for Trump. So I don't know that it's going to change anything. I certainly don't think if he gets acquitted, that all of a sudden he's going to move up in the polls. I guess I'd be surprised by that. Let's see. Hey, Chris, this is Esoteric Jebus. Hey, Chris, I forgot the exact amount of weeks I've been for this one, but we're keeping the streak going. Thank you for it. I appreciate you being here from the beginning. Do you play any video games? Okay. So this has been a long-running thing for me. I am pretty busy. I'm making a daily video. I'm writing 2 posts a day for my political Substack and 1 post a day for my sports Substack. That takes a lot of time. Like, I write fast, but it takes time. And being an independent content creator is hard because I don't make a salary. It's not like, I make whatever amount of money, no matter how much I write and how much I do. It's kind of dependent on driving subscriptions. And I kind of feel like I need to write content and create content to drive subscriptions. So I've had less free time, to be totally honest. I really, really, really want to play the 2 most recent Zelda games, Breath of the Wild and whatever the next one is, because I've heard they're amazing. I loved Zelda when I was a kid. We have a Switch downstairs. We also have an Xbox. That's what the kids mostly play on. They play Fortnite and FIFA. They don't play Zelda, but I really want to play Zelda. So I got to make time for it. But like right now, I got to make money. Like, I gotta be totally honest. Like, I need you to subscribe. I need you to support me. Like, I need you to spread if you've done those things, thank you. I need you to spread the word and tell other people, because that's what I'm focused on right now. So I hope I can do that. But we'll see. Graham J. Banner, it would be great to see you do more interviews, debates, collaborations with other creators. Would love to see you in that kind of setting, and it would bring more attention to your channel. Yeah, I need to do that. Tears of the Kingdom is the other one that I want to play. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. You're right, Graham. I do need to do that more. I have the name of one person that I've sort of made contact with that I need to follow up with, a YouTube political creator. If you have other names, let me know. I'll reach out to them too. I don't know if they'll be interested in working with me, but I'm always open to it. So yeah, let me do that. Let's see. Carl Henning asked, do I think RFK Jr. takes more from Trump or Biden? So there was a poll this week that showed 47% of RFK Jr. voters, if pushed, would be for Trump, and 27% would be for Biden. So that makes me think they take a little bit more from Trump, maybe a lot more, but a little bit more at a minimum from Trump, which I think is a little surprising, just not because of Kennedy's positioning, but because of Kennedy's name. I assume still most of the people who say they want Kennedy Jr. as a candidate, thank you, Thumb, are doing so because they know his last name and they know he's sort of Democratic royalty, even though his whole family has endorsed Joe Biden. So I guess I was a little surprised by that, that it's more from Trump. My guess is you're going to see Trump go on the offense more against RFK Jr. because he's losing votes to him. So yeah. Let's see. Hope your channel keeps growing. Me too. Trying to get Hal Sparks. Try to get on Hal Sparks' show. You'll have fun and find a good ally. Okay, thank you, Steve. That's a good idea. Jesse Dollamore, okay. Talking Feds with Harry Littman does YouTube. Would love to see you collaborate with the Pod Save America guys. Yeah, I know those guys. I don't know if they'd have me on, but I can reach out to them. It's a good idea. Thank you. I appreciate all of these suggestions. David Packman, I've heard that before. Brian Taylor, okay, that's coming in. Harvard Rabbit says, Chris, you can live stream your gaming and people would watch that too. Man, I'm terrible at that. I don't know. How do you do that? Through Twitch? I can't do it through YouTube, can I? I don't have my camera is on my laptop. So that would be weird. Young Turks, someone suggests. Yes, that's another one that I'll reach out to. Okay, so I'll go through these. All right. I need to go because I need to work out. It's 1:57 on the East Coast. I need to go. Thank you for sticking with me despite the terrible curse chat of which now we will never speak of again. We made 7 minutes of, I did 46 minutes plus 7 minutes where no one could hear me. 53 total minutes. Thank you. Again, please, I need your support. I need your financial support if you can give it to my Substacks. They're $7 a month for the political one, $5 a month for the sports one, or $70 a year for the political one and $50 a year for the sports one. You'll get something at least every day from me. Subscribe to this channel if you can. If you have already done that, spread the word. Tell people what I'm doing. We got 7 months until the election. I'm going to be here doing it. I'm going to try and make this work, make this go as a content creator on my own. So I need your support. I'm thankful if I already have it. Spread the word. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I will see you on Monday. Goodbye.